Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. You'll bring up the rest of the crew.
Okay, Priscilla Lopez. Who played her mother. I know is Edgar here. Edgar Osorio is our dance instructor, teacher. Matthew Clark.
Matthew will be leading us in rumble lessons also later. I noticed you came in 4th place. I don't know if
Hi, darling. I know. Guys, if anybody else is here, who's here? Anita. Oh, where are you? Oh, Anita.
Not to take away from the objectivity of our decision to include this film in our festival, Anita Hollander happens to be also on our selection committee.
Did you get the check? Did I miss anybody? I'm Chloe. Chloe's behind the scenes organizing all of our coming to goers, emails, schedules. Come on guys, help me out. Are you hiding? Is this it? Oh, come on up. See? Our basketball champion.
Is that everybody? We have half the cast here. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming out. This film is just a fabulous way to end the festival on a reel up and on with a New York story as well, which I think ReelAbilities is a little bit of a New York story. Maybe you could share a little bit about we're going to start with you, Janet. Maybe you could share a little bit of the origins.
I have another choreographer here, Benito Garcia. Where are you? Okay, sorry about that. I think we have a wall.
At least we know we're going to have a good dance party later. So maybe you can tell us a little bit first about the origins of where this film came from and how it was made.
Oh, Lord. Well, it's kind of a long story, so I'll make it brief. I had an idea. I worked on it. I hired somebody to write it. I waited around till somebody saw in it what I saw. I found that person. His name is Joey Didio. He's out in LA today, working the other end of the country. And we started working on it. And then when I realized that this was in some small way a hard sell, I figured I'll do it myself. So I did. And we started a year ago, January, and here we are. Thank you.
When is this being released in theaters? When could they tell them for their friends to see it?
In New York and Miami, it will be March 23rd, and in LA and Chicago, March 30th. So you can go to New York, Miami, LA, and Chicago.
We shouldn't be anywhere else. One of the amazing things about this film is actually that there's an inclusion actually in the cast of people with disabilities, which is rare to see. Maybe some of the participants who took on those roles can tell us a little bit about their experience as far as getting to the film, how you found out about this whole process.
Well, I know Matthew will want to say some words too.
We have to share the mics.
I'll make sure you do. I'm Anita, and I was very excited when I heard about this happening. And it's not just about performers with disabilities, but it's also about diversity in general. The whole cast is so diverse on so many levels. But I happen to be an advocate for performers with disabilities. I'm the National East Coast Chair of Performers with Disabilities for SAG and AFTRA, and I'm also an equity member. And we've just finished a 3-year campaign called I Am PWD, Inclusion in the Arts and Media for People with Disabilities. And we've worked so hard, and when this came along, I just thought, well, this is great. I mean, they've gone further than most films have out there to include all of us and to make sure that it's accurate, and there's access, accuracy, and inclusion, which is the 3 things that we've been trying to work so hard on IMPWD. So I was excited, and when I heard, well, actually it was Jaime, he's my Pilates buddy, and it was a Pilates that Jaime said, you should know about this movie that's being made. And I knew Susan Seidelman because of a musical she's been working on that I was singing for, demos for. So I just wrote her an email and I said, if you need any help, or like consulting, or if there's anything I can do to help, I'd be really happy. And she wrote back and said, well, we wanted to be in it. So it was really great. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm so proud of this, and I can see it a million times, and it's a great movie, aside from just, it isn't just a disabled film. It's like so many things, and I'll stop talking now. Thank you.
I'm Matthew Clark. I've been doing wheelchair ballroom dancing for about 6 years off and on now. And one of my former partners actually was the 3rd choreographer for this, named Harvey Marchione. She was in the pink dancing during the competition. And when she got the gig, she's like, oh man, we need to get as many people as involved as possible. And as soon as I heard this is a possibility, I live in Philadelphia, I was calling friends in New York, see whose couch I could stay on during filming. And yeah, no, it was quite a workshop. We had a week to teach people how to wheelchair ballroom dance. A lot of them had never used chairs before. It was quite a challenge. For me, to teach them, that is. But no, it was great, and it's great to go out and just promote an activity that I believe in so much. So, thank you.
So we take a couple of questions from you guys. I'd like to ask the other actors how they were trained for, especially the dancing. What kind of preparation did you have to go through?
Oh, that would be me. Hi. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. I'm so honored to be a part of this film. We actually, the actors who were involved in the film, we had about 5 weeks of rehearsals, and it was very challenging and amazing. It was incredible. It was a really incredible experience. I have a dance background. I studied dance as a kid, but I never studied ballroom dancing, and then of course I never studied ballroom dancing in a wheelchair. So it was a wonderful challenge, and in working with Audie, who plays Nikki in the film, I'm just getting to work with her every day was absolutely incredible. She taught me so much about just strength and courage, and she's just an amazing, amazing person.
Question for the non-dancing actors, if you may. Were you jealous the entire time? Did you want to get out there and dance?
Well, we did dance, party.
We had our moments.
We just relied on our Latin roots and just let it fly.
Somebody pointed out to me that your legs are, I think, the opening shot of the film, and I noticed a lot of shots of your legs in the film. Is that, do you think, a statement here within the film?
Well, I thank Susan Seidelman. No, I didn't even realize that. But now thinking back, you're right. Yes. Oh, I'm thrilled.
The camera was very low. Didn't realize why. All right, I'd love to take some questions from the audience as well. Let's start there.
How many wheelchair users were there that were really disabled?
3.
Three. The fella?
The
Really muscular guy?
muscular guy,
I know
Matt,
Matt, I know Matt, yes.
and Otzi was the punky girl, Nikki. Yes. And let me just...
As far as the dancers go.
That's not
Yes,
too many.
yes, and then we, excuse me?
Well, I don't think that's too many, really.
That's too many?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well,
We have the basketball team.
we have the basketball team. We have the whole basketball team. We had Anita.
Mixture of teams.
Yes, a mixture. And unfortunately, this was we had a time constraint. The call did go out to disabled dancers and actors, and we were within a certain time frame. And if you look at the dance floor, we had 6 couples on the dance floor, 3 of which were truly disabled. So in the overall picture, I think we did pretty good. Thank you. And it was a challenge, I must say, because I'm very sensitive to and concerned the whole time on how we were going to be perceived, and to acknowledge and give due respect to every person in our film, because it was really about diversity, like we said. The Latino culture, the gay and lesbian, and the disabled, and even the dancers needed to be represented properly. So it was I had a few headaches, I'm wondering what the hell am I doing? And I think in retrospect, what this was for us as a cast and a crew, behind the scenes and in front of the camera, was an education. And everybody was educated within this scope of this movie. To the sensitivity, the challenges, the things that we as able-bodied people take for granted. And I incorporated a lot of those concerns when I was working on the script. The simple thing that the cabinets are too high, the bathroom's too narrow, you drop your lipstick, who the hell's going to get it? I mean, a lot of things. Would someone fall in love? It's a love story. It's just that people are people, and I was hoping, and the intention of this film was to open everybody's eyes and hearts and just accept everyone, because diversity is really what's going to make us all survive.
I'm going to take a question right over here.
I'd like to ask you some questions about the shooting in the last scene. I was troubled by the fact that many times we saw people from the neck up or from the shoulders up. I felt like the film didn't trust the dancing and didn't trust the disabled dancers. There were many times that I saw more of the standing dancers than the seated dancers, and many times the camera angle favored those standing dancers because it was shooting down on them, making the wheelchair users kind of the objects of the camera. That troubled me, and I wondered about the decisions in that. I didn't feel that so much in the rehearsals, but in the performance, in the contest.
Well, can I answer? Does anybody want to answer this?
Well, I didn't shoot it, so I can't speak to it.
Okay. Well, I have to say, I was there on the set from morning until night, every single day. And with this particular scene, with these scenes that you're talking about, we've had it took us 3 full days of over 12-hour days filming and trying to get the dance. Under the best of circumstances, even for whoever's out there dancing, to get the look, This is a film. This is a story. It's supposed to, there is some imagination, some fantasy involved. I'm really sorry if it has offended anybody to feel as if somehow intentionally they were not being presented properly. It was more for the film, for the theatrical aspect of it. It was not meant to be a documentary. It was meant to be a story to open people's hearts and minds and eyes to think of all of this diversity differently. No stereotypes, no nothing. Just to be people trying to have a happy life.
I will ask about that last scene. I mean, it's a little bit of a fairy tale, this whole film, and that last scene really has that glamorized look to it, and the angles and the way it was shot also add on to that scene, almost as if it's a dream sequence in some ways, and I think that adds to where the atmosphere of the film. We're going to take 2 more questions.
Thank you so much. You know, I have to first say that I have a little aphasia, and I'm so excited of what I saw of your performance and the excellence. I'm saying, wow, you're going to have very successful. And because of my aphasia, I just want to mention that I have my disabilities that are hidden. I had something similar to a stroke. But when I see the perspective, when I met Anita, yes, and see you in Brooklyn, I've been going to different places. This is the best, and the excitement of the performance as a Hispanic person, as a person with disability, the issue of addressing, not the issue of, it's a combination, as you mentioned, people with disability, regardless of the color of the skin, regardless you have this, you have that, and the excitement, the feel, the salsa that I felt. I want to dance. You know? I want to that was the intention. So I'm very excited, and once again, I'm responding to my little aphasia, it's just because I totally applaud to all of you. Excellent, my perspective. Thank you.
I don't know if Jews in the family wanted to complain.
Wait, I didn't hear that. Come back here.
I was saying there are not enough Jews in the film.
Oh, well, I tried to have you like the waltz. That was about eucalyptus. Come on. I tried to cover all bases.
The final song in the waltz is a famous Israeli song, ReelAbilities. Definitely, you can get this film accepted now to absolutely every film festival. And so, one more question on this side. I don't know. Good, make it easy for me tonight. Everybody in the front row.
Hello. Hi, Angel. Thanks everybody for the film. It was really great. My question is, I don't know if you intentionally raised stereotypes in the movie, but I specifically noticed women, stereotypes of women with disabilities that were reinforced, but not necessarily challenged. So, for example, when the one man who was disabled, injured from the war, says, "Oh, are you gonna have chicks there, real chicks, not wheelchair chicks," right? So that was one issue with the idea that women with disabilities aren't full women. And then another comment was the mother and the person that she was dating, the main character, about where you can have children and all that type of stuff. So I just wondered, was that intentional? Because those are real stereotypes that exist about women with disabilities that we're not. So we're just that intentional to raise awareness about it, because it's kind of not really explicit. Like I know about it because I study it, so I know. But if you're just a regular audience member, there was no explicit message, So I was just wondering, were you trying to do something, or is that something that just happened?
Well, my character is the one who has that issue about worrying about her son and what his life will be like, and I think that. Not to think of it in stereotype, but as an education, because eventually, the mother does come around and realize that it's about relationships, and I think what the message of this movie is love of all types and all people. So Stereotypes are stereotypes because sometimes they're true. That's why they're stereotypes. And this is a good, when you deal with it and you show it, and you show people being in the middle of it and not realizing, it educates the audience to recognize it and say, oh, really? She feels that way? Doesn't she realize that there's more to this than that? So I think that or even the, what was the character's name? Rose's partner.
Kenny.
Kenny.
Yes.
The one from the war. And he's saying, you know, real chicks. You know, he's just a human being with his own head trips or whatever, and we're going into his world and see what he's dealing with. We all deal with different things in our lives, and I think that whether it's viewed as stereotypical or not, it's all lessons. We all have lessons to learn, and we see these things not only in this movie, but in everything we come across in life. So hopefully it'll be a learning experience rather than an experience of setting up stereotypes. Just
something to spark discussion. Something to spark discussion as well. I think so often for me as an artist, sometimes it's important to just have the questions asked, and I think it's fantastic that you bring that point up. So this is something that we can talk about and sort of bring to light about people with disabilities and sort of the misconceptions and stereotypes. Sometimes enough in some ways to get the discussion started, to get the conversation started.
I just wanted to follow up, as particularly to the comment that Kenny made about, you know, there can be real chicks or chicks in wheelchairs. Like, when I first heard that during the film, because I just saw this for the first time, I hadn't read the script, I was like, oh. But then I realized, you know, I know a lot of assholes that think that way. And, you know, he says he is himself. And so I think that, yeah, you know, like that rang true. So I don't feel like I can really complain they put that in there. Because again, everyone knows Kenny's kind of an asshole. You know, so challenge that in a way. And I think, you know, it's interesting that that's like an inside disability culture thing. Like, I was surprised, like, oh, you guys know some guys who play wheelchair sports think that way too. Who told you? You know, it's just kind of interesting to have that.
I want to say that this festival, that ReelAbilities, really tries to present sides of our community that are not featured enough in films and that we don't get to see enough in the public, and we put them in the spotlight here and on our screen and bring them to these audiences, and people get to see a reality that often television and movies depict a certain reality that unfortunately doesn't completely represent, and a film like this film shows really the diversity of life in our community. So thank you all so much for bringing this to us. I think it's time to dance now. So please, everybody, join us in the lobby. Those of you who want to exit through the back exit, you can do that as well at the top of the stairs.